Hi everyone, it's Kuya Mike and welcome to another video. So today we're going to be reading an email, so let's get straight into it. The title of this email is In Comparison. Dear Kuya Mike, I finished university back in 2018, but unfortunately I wasn't able to find work related to my course, so I ended up working in a local supermarket close to where I live. The plan was to work there while I kept applying for another job, but it reached the point where I'd sent out heaps of resumes over 6 months without hearing back. At first, I didn't let it get to me, but then I'd see my classmates getting jobs, and then a year later I'd see fresh grads getting work, and me, no luck at all. Actually, there was a time a recruiter tried to help me, but shockingly enough, I was turned down by a potential employer because of a lack of experience. And after that, the recruiter stopped contacting me. As time passed, I started getting anxious and didn't want to open LinkedIn anymore because I've associated it with rejection. It's 2021 now, and I still work at the supermarket. I should be grateful that I still have work because I'm considered a key worker, while many have lost their jobs due to the pandemic. But as I get closer to 25 years old, I feel like I haven't achieved anything, while everyone I know continues to progress. Is there any point of me to keep on trying? I am a failure. Sorry to turn this into a pity party. The undesirable. Okay, so to provide context for anyone watching in the future, just in case YouTube decides to just randomly suggest this video 10 years from now, if we reach that level, it's 2021, we are currently going through a pandemic. Hopefully when you're watching this, the pandemic has been dealt with better. It's probably still going to be about, but we've learned to coexist with it. Anyway, I digress. The point is, getting back to the email, thank you for your email. Let me say firstly, you're not a failure. Just the process has failed you. And I also want to clarify that there is nothing wrong with working in customer service. Nothing wrong with retail. It's just the customers that make it bad. So going back to the main issue, I always say that you should never compare yourself with others because quite frankly, when you do, you've already lost. Yes, it's extremely demotivating what you've been going through, and quite frankly, it is unfair, but that's the way it is. The world is just messed up, and I'm sorry if that's not what you wanted to hear, but just hear me out anyway. Everyone has their own pace. That's what I like to say. So in your case, you've just struck out. You've not been very lucky, and from your email, it just sounds like you've sent out CVs and you just heard nothing back. So I'm not too sure if you've already done this, but I'm just going to say that it's for anyone else that's going through this and is already watching. But perhaps you should consider becoming more proactive in your approach. So what I mean is, like, in addition to sending out CVs, try to contact people that you know in the industry that you're trying to get into, and just be like, hi, do you mind, is there anyone that you can maybe refer me to that I could maybe present my CV? Or if you're working creatives, like, who can I show my work, my portfolio to, who can I show my demo reel to, and so on. But so take advantage now of the classmates that have gotten lucky and that might be able to help you. And also try to connect with people that are in a company. Like, yes, there's going to be a lot of snobs, but you'd be surprised to find people that will actually be able to give you some advice that would help. If you can find someone that managed to get in the company, or that someone that's a mid or a senior level, just ask them, hi, I'm actually interested in doing this. I've actually got knowledge of this because this is what I studied. It's just that I'm just trying to catch a break, and is there any advice you can give me? Just don't be one of those people that contact someone and be like, hey, can you recommend me for this position? The thing is, this is what they don't really teach you when you study. You can be good at what you do, but you need to be able to talk to people, to be able to read a social situation and be able to know how to make the most of it. And unfortunately, that's not what they teach you. It can teach you all the stuff where you can be an absolute genius, but if you don't really know how to jive with other people, that's not going to help, because no one will want to work with an asshole. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not saying you are, but this is just something that people will need to work on in addition to whatever practical skills or knowledge they have of whatever career they're trying to pursue. Also, contact recruiters. I know you got contacted by one, but contact a recruiter and ask them, hi, is there anything that you can like advise me on, like what I can do to work on my CV? Is there anything I can do that will make me look more appealing? That's really what recruiters should be doing. I'm just sorry that you got done dirty by this one recruiter. It makes me sick, quite frankly, because you've put in the hard work, and what they want to do is they just want to connect you to someone, and then they'll get commission because they've helped you get a job. That's not how it should be. It should be something where they help you progress, not they see you already, I'm just gonna get that. But yes, they've wronged you. And again, like I said earlier, I apologize if you've already been doing these things, but I think it's important to mention these anyway for people that haven't and are in a similar situation to yourself. Okay, so at this point you're probably thinking, oh, that's what everyone says. They don't understand what I'm going through. So you mentioned that as you get closer to 25, you feel like you haven't achieved anything. Well, let me share some of my experience with you. I started university late, therefore I finished late. I didn't finish university until I was 23. And during that time in uni, I also worked in retail. I used to work in a photo lab where we would print photos, we would develop film, we would take passport pictures of people, we'd also do photography sessions of like families and corporate headshots. But at the end of the day, it was retail because we'd be in customer service helping other people. And I'll say this now, the pay wasn't great. Like you could get way more hourly going to a Tesco's or a Sainsbury's. So that's the local supermarket for us in the UK. But the thing is, I couldn't even get a job at Sainsbury's or Tesco's or Waitrose. Like I remember I would always fail the tests online. And one time I did get an interview, and even that I failed. It was just so demoralizing. The fact that I was trying to apply for part-time work at a supermarket, and even then they'd say no. And then I'm sure everyone can share this, where sometimes when you go to a supermarket and you're looking for something and it just seems like they just don't want to help you at all. And I was like thinking, man, how'd they get the job? Anyway, my point is I worked in customer service for 5 years, full-time and part-time. It wasn't a job that was related to my degree, but admittedly I did get comfortable with it because I worked with such great people and my boss was the absolute best. And it was thanks to this job that I was able to save up and do things like traveling. Like there are people that will focus on the degree, get a house and all that, get married by a certain age, have kids, and won't get to do what I got to do in my early 20s. But that's them and I'm me, so that's their choice. Yeah, so do you get my point? Like now I'm starting to make comparison, but the point is, like I started my career late, but I have no regrets because the early 20s was just me like figuring myself out, and that's probably what you're going through right now as well. Because at the end of the day, this career that you're trying to go for might not necessarily be what you want to do for the rest of your life. That will be for another video if I decide to start talking about why I feel people should do university when they're in their mid-20s or something like that, because deciding a career that early on for the rest of your life and racking up that debt if you have to take up a student loan, it's just... So going back to my personal experience, you haven't hit 25 yet. I'm turning 30 very soon. So when I was 26, the timing was right. The government or whoever's in charge of it started offering student loans for postgraduate studies. So I decided that this is the time that I'm actually going to sort out my career, my late 20s. So I did my master's, which gave me the chance to learn something new in a more focus than what I did in university. And now I work in visual effects. But the thing is, my career is still not in that taking off phase. Like I said, I didn't land the gig in visual effects until I was like 27 going on 28. So now I'm considered a junior level artist, whereas people my age that went straight out of uni into a job, they're probably hitting mid or even senior level now. But the way I like to see it is, where I'm at, I can only go up, and I've got the rest of my life to do that. And even then, is it something I want to do? Who knows? But right now, it's something I'm interested in, and maybe the longer I'm in it, I will find that there are other things I want to do. Yes, I just want you to think about this, because what it is you're trying to desperately get, it's maybe holding you back from things that you might actually enjoy. So while you're sort of in this slump, maybe have a look at other things that you might actually enjoy. Try out hobbies, because who knows, it might actually be something that could lead to something of a lucrative future, you know, hopefully. But like I'm saying, like, don't let this be the end of all, or be the be all, the end all. I don't know how the saying goes, but yeah, wow, we went on quite a journey, because my whole point was don't compare, because the moment you compare yourself to someone else, you lose. You have your own pace, go about it your own way, but probably try to be a bit more proactive in your approach. And also make the right connections, because it will really, really help. So that's all I have to say for now. Like, there's a lot more I'm pretty sure I can say, but I just really can't remember, to be really real with you. So maybe I'll just follow up and type it in the comments. Also, I'd like to hear from everyone else, like, what are your thoughts on this situation? Right now, I just feel like there's way too much pressure to be a millionaire by 25, and we have things like social media to blame for that. But that's just the way it is, and it's not gonna change anytime soon. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching this video. Really appreciate everyone that's been here, sticking with me for this long. So I'll end it with the usual stuff you hear from all the other YouTube videos. Please do like and share, comment, and if you enjoy what you see and you haven't already, please do consider subscribing, and do click on the notification bell so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. Do check out my socials. I'm also on Twitch. And feel free to send in any emails you have. So if you have any questions, confessions, or anything you just want to get off your chest, just send it to the email in the description below. So that's AskKuyaMike@gmail.com. And I want to give a shout out to Brado Pie. Here's a portrait of him that I did for him. So thank you so much for the tier 3 sub on Twitch. I really appreciate your support. And with that being said, I'm going to end the video there. So I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. See ya.